Hello students, now we are going to discuss eutrophication and biological magnification in detail. So you might have heard about eutrophication. We did talk about earlier in the previous lesson that eutrophication is the death of lake basically. So why do we use the term death? Death means that a water body is not able to sustain any ecosystem any further. That means it is not suitable for the life to be sustained inside it. Now, water is essence of life. Now, if that essence of life itself is not suitable for sustaining life, that means the death of water body has taken place. Now, eutrophication is of two types. Eutrophication is of natural and cultural type. This natural eutrophication, you can draw a parallel. If somebody has survived his or her entire lifespan, then that is known as death. But if you do it before he has survived his or her lifespan, and you kill that particular thing, that is known as murder. So basically this cultural eutrophication is human made. It is killing the water body in a short span of time. Why? Because in natural eutrophication, it is the ecological process of succession which is taking place, that the water body gets replaced by a terrestrial ecosystem. But in case of cultural or accelerated eutrophication, the water body has to be killed within a short span of say 50 years or 100 years by human activity. So let us see what happens in a natural eutrophication and in accelerated eutrophication. First of all, the natural eutrophication would take a span of million years at least, that the water body would give rise to various biotic communities which would be interacting within themselves. The lowest in complexity would give rise to further higher one, and at a stage a biotic community climax is attained where we have that level at which the ecosystem is the most advanced. Now that is known as natural eutrophication, or in other terms we use the term biological succession in a water body that is taking place. And there is nothing wrong in it, because there has been a lot of succession that is taking place on earth, and we have many terrestrial ecosystems, many water bodies have been converted into forests, and that has taken place over time. But what if this happens in a span of 100 years and no biotic communities are being formed, rather those which were present in water, they also get perished? Such is the extent of cultural or the accelerated eutrophication. Now consider it how it happens. Supposedly you have a water body that is having this much depth. We did talk about that the upper surface of water body is warm and the lower surface is cold. What if some physical pollutant comes and adds up water over here, which raises the temperature of this particular water body? First thing. Secondly, what if some chemical pollutant which is rich in nitrates and phosphates comes in, pollutes this water body? First of all, what happens is when the temperature rises, all the living organisms which are present inside the water body, they flourish incessantly. They start flourishing because this lower part was not suitable for life. So it was almost the dead area of the lake. But still the ecosystem was working. So this lower part would also become warm, and whatever organisms were present over here, they would be able to survive in the lower conditions which were earlier not suitable for survival, as you can see over here. Now the lake has given rise to area, automatically more area where the organisms could survive. If more area is there, that means more organisms would survive over there. Secondly, nitrates and phosphates are very much required by plants, and whenever they would be present in excess, the abundant growth of plants would take place. But what happens is that these give rise to algal bloom. In case of algal bloom, cyanobacteria or the blue-green algae, which is not plants, not algae, they would come and form the layer over the surface of the water body. When a layer is being formed, the oxygen supply is cut to the water, and the lower organisms would automatically survive in low oxygen conditions, which would be taken up further, and there would be oxygen deficiency in the water body. So somehow the ecosystem that is inside the water body is going to decline in its productivity, and later on it would perish, because this algal bloom condition has come to rise because of the rich nitrates and phosphate pollutants which have come and joined the water body. Now these are very much suitable for growth of the algal bloom. The water body is going to stink. This is going to stink bad. You might have seen somewhere or else there are green ponds, lush green ponds. They are cyanobacteria basically, which are slowly and steadily killing the water body. Now another point is that whenever there is a water body, there is a term known as BOD. That is biochemical oxygen demand. Please learn the term. It is biochemical oxygen demand. You know, all the organisms which are present in an ecosystem that is aquatic, they would take the dissolved oxygen from the water body. As the number of organisms would increase in that water body, this biochemical oxygen demand would increase, leading to decline in dissolved oxygen. Now you know, whenever usage is more than replenishment, there is always scarcity. So when the biological oxygen demand is much more than the decline in dissolved oxygen and replenishment of that dissolved oxygen, then automatically the oxygen content of the lake would decline. So please remember, biochemical oxygen demand, if it is very much high, the dissolved oxygen is going to decline. If the dissolved oxygen has increased, that means all the biochemical oxygen demand has been reduced. So this is very good pollution indicator. Pollution indicator in the terms of biological pollutants, that is, the pollution indicator is more is the biological oxygen demand or the biochemical oxygen demand, which is due to the presence of microbes and aerobic bacteria and other pollutants, more is the water body pollution taken place. So we get to understand that the dissolved oxygen declines. As soon as it declines, the organisms which are surviving inside the pond, they would also decline in their number. Their productivity would decline in the beginning, and later on they will not be able to survive because oxygen is very much required for all the metabolic activities. So with time the ecosystems would die. After that, this water body will not be suitable for giving any ecosystem the support, life support system as we call it. It would not be able to give that support, and this water body would be nothing else except for the algae which are dependent on photosynthetic activity, which takes up the oxygen from the atmosphere, and rest of the water is nothing but waste water which cannot give rise or which cannot sustain any aquatic ecosystem. So this process, when it takes place at a very fast pace, not compared to this would give rise to many biotic communities, and this particular process is taking away all the biotic communities which were present in less quantity, and it is taking away those also. So this is the accelerated eutrophication, a major water pollutant, and industrial waste rich in nitrates and phosphates and hot water which is being thrown in the water bodies is the major cause of this. Alright, so we get to know what is eutrophication. Next we are going to take biological magnification. You might have heard that DDT usage has been stopped, or we say that the products rich in mercury should not be added into water. It would lead to some or other sort of problem to the infants and other organisms which are going to take that water rich in mercury. Now what is that all about? That is biological magnification. Another important phenomena associated with water pollution is biological magnification, or in short we call it biomagnification. Okay. Now what is biomagnification? Bio would be something living and magnification. That means living organisms would be giving rise to magnification of particular heavy element or a compound. So let us take the example of DDT. Few years back when Green Revolution came, DDT was the major insecticide that was used in the agricultural activities. Now what is wrong with this DDT is that it cannot be metabolically broken down by any living organisms. Now for instance, from any non-point source, that is the agricultural field, when it got irrigated, this water, the polluted water with DDT enters some water body. So what will happen, it would be taken up at the various trophic levels of the food chain. With each trophic level moving further and higher, the content of DDT inside the organism is going to increase manyfold. So the highest level is going to have lot more DDT as it was present in the water. So let us consider, for example, this is an agricultural field from where this is field supposedly. It was given DDT and agricultural waste has added DDT into the river. Okay. Now this river has supposedly 10 parts per million of DDT. Supposedly. Now from this river, few phytoplanktons are going to take up this water and they are going to accumulate 100 ppm of DDT inside them. Then the further one is going to, supposedly these are phytoplanktons. The next organism which is going to feed on phytoplankton as per 10% law is going to feed on more number of phytoplanktons. So more number of phytoplanktons are being consumed, that means more DDT is getting accumulated in the next level. And as I told you, it cannot be metabolically digested, so it stays as it is inside the body. Next being zooplanktons. Now here the number would rise because supposedly it is consuming 2 phytoplanktons, supposedly. 2 phytoplanktons are consumed by a single zooplankton. So how much DDT goes inside it? It is 200 ppm. Okay, it is just for reference purpose I am using this particular quantity. It has nothing to do in actuality, it is something different, but for reference purpose please try to understand that this phytoplankton dependent on river water which had 10 ppm of this DDT, further it accumulated 100 because it used few particles of DDT and water molecules. Next is that the zooplankton which would feed on these phytoplanktons is not going to consume just one phytoplankton, it would consume 3 or 4. So whatever DDT was present in each phytoplankton would be accumulated in the zooplankton. Now supposedly some fish feeds on this zooplankton. According to 10% law, it is not going to eat just one zooplankton, it is going to eat 4 or 5 to meet its energy requirements. So supposedly this fish eats 7 zooplanktons. So 7 into 2, it got 1400 ppm of DDT inside it. Some larger fish, it feeds on this fish, and energy requirements of course would not be meant by feeding on one fish only. Supposedly it feeds on 3 fishes per day. So it gets around 5200 ppm. It would be 52. No, sorry, 4200 ppm. This is the larger fish. I am going according to a food chain only, where I am skipping various trophic levels one by one. And supposedly on this large fish, some cormorant or some bird comes and feeds. It is going to feed on 4 fishes, 4 such fishes. Some bird comes and feeds on it. Now this bird, it further feeds on 2 larger fish supposedly. So it would have 8400 ppm. Just see the comparison, how it started from 10 and how it has reached 8400. Now this is known as biological magnification, that the pollutant has increased in its concentration as each trophic level is being passed further. Alright, so we have so much high quantity of DDT and it would take the conduits of living organisms only. So this particular pollutant would get accumulated more and more in the biological food chain. So this particular process is known as biomagnification and it is having harmful effects. For instance, if I am talking about the birds, these birds will not be able to form calcareous shells properly because of the presence of DDT. Alright, so this insecticide has been almost banned because ultimately it is going to infect the ecological existence of the birds, and you know we all are dependent somehow or other way on all the organisms, so we cannot manage to have some particular biotic community getting totally perished or extinguished because of one practice which could be overcome. So nowadays DDT has been banned just because for one reason, because it led to biomagnification in the water bodies through the trophic levels by the process of food chain. Thank you.